Hey guys, it's Busy, and I'm a mixed girl in a mixed up world. Welcome to another episode of Every Victim Deserves Justice. Today's episode is part 2 on my series on Jermaine Fleming. Jermaine had that smile that would light up a room every time he walked into it. He was beloved, not just by his family and friends, but the community that he lived and worked in. On December 29th, 2021, Jermaine was shot in the head in back of a Kroger right by his house. His death is very suspicious. That day, he had just broken up with his ex-girlfriend and gave her $1,500 to move out. And not long after, he unfortunately was dead by her gun. The only two people who were supposedly there were her and Jermaine. She claims Jermaine shot himself, but there are a lot of discrepancies in this case. The hospital said he was shot on the left-hand side. There was a smaller wound on the left-hand side, and the exit wound on the right-hand side was larger. The police and the coroner claim that he shot himself on the right-hand side. That's a big discrepancy. There is so much of this case that does not make any sense. Now, this case has been reopened by the GBI, but we still need to make sure the word of his case gets out there to put pressure on them to make sure they solve this case, because every victim deserves justice, and Jermaine Fleming deserves justice. So what's your second scenario of what happened?
The second scenario would be, my son was an avid chess player and he played online. And when he's upset about things, he does go and park and sit and play his chess, to calm himself down. But the fact that he didn't call me, his god brothers, his brother, his best friend to say something is bothering him, let me know it wasn't that serious for him.
Yeah.
If it was, he felt like he was in danger or he felt in a dark place, he would have called someone. My son is not a person that hold things in. If there's something on his mind, he will let you know. So
yeah,
that's the second scenario. He went to Kroger because Kroger is right next door to the apartment complex.
Oh, okay.
All right. So he drove over there. One, he was supposed to meet the girl, the Nia, the pregnant girl. They arranged to meet over there.
Oh, okay. So did Desiree know he was supposed to go over there and meet her?
I don't know if she knew that or not, but you see on the text that he's agreeing to meet her. She's saying that she's at the doctor's appointment across the street from Kroger, and can we meet at 12? And he says yes. So that's
that's Nia who said
right.
That. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me wonder if Desiree knew they were going to meet up.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that she had that mirror text app on his phone that can see everything that he texts.
Possibly.
He had a lot of different apps. She had the fake text app on there, all kinds of stuff that was on my son's phone. And like I said, he wouldn't have known because he's not a tech guy. He doesn't do apps. He doesn't do any of that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
it's quite possible.
So where do you think he was actually shot? Do you think he was shot outside the truck?
Yes, I believe he was probably outside his truck. And, when he saw Desiree car, he had no reason to feel on guard or unsafe. It's Desiree.
Yeah.
The most thing they're going to do is argue, right? And she had to sneak up on him because he shot on his left-hand side and he's right-handed. So.
And if you're a right-handed person, to shoot from the other hand is just.
Right. So, to take his left hand to shoot himself, you're saying that he did this abruptly. So when you're doing things abruptly, you're on autopilot. And autopilot, he would use his right hand.
The dominant hand.
So if he was going to shoot with his left hand, that's something he would have to think about and make sure he get it right. And You know what I mean? That type
Yeah,
of.
yeah, it wouldn't be something fast. So does she call the police?
Yep, she calls the police. Well, look, this is a timeline. 1:15, she calls his Android.
Mm-hmm.
1:17, she calls Nia.
She
1:18,
calls Nia.
yeah. 1:18, she calls Nia again, and third time, 1:18, she calls Nia. Then at 1:19, she texts the wedding planner and tell the wedding planner the wedding is off. And at 1:21, she calls 911.
Yep, it's all quick calls. The cell phone records show that Desiree, his ex-girlfriend, made a bunch of really fast phone calls back to back to back. And some of the phone calls were made to the woman that was having Jermaine's baby. And the time frame is extremely close to when he was shot. Do you think she wanted Nia to see him like that?
Yeah.
Basically to say, he's mine and you can't have him.
All right. I mean, you have to look at somebody as deviant as Desiree. Her whole thing is, how do I not be responsible for my life and still live it? Jermaine is that person. I can live with you. I don't have to work. I don't have to cook. I don't have to clean. All I have to do is sit here and play on my phone and play in my hair. And that's it.
Yeah.
And she had no problem with Jermaine and Nia seeing each other. She had a problem after she got pregnant.
Because that means she knew she was out.
She was out, because Jermaine is not about to be a deadbeat parent for nobody.
Yeah.
Then he will put his foot down on. So she days was numbered after that happened. She's pregnant. He broke up with me, and this time it was different. He was on a mission. He didn't talk to me. He hasn't been talking to me. As I got his home security camera, mind you, she thought she got away with it because she changed the passwords on the security camera. And Jermaine's home security camera is 2-part system. So you changed the password on the cloud part of the home security, but it's also a hard drive. And that's where I come in. I'm IT. I can hack that.
Go, Mom.
So we hacked into that and got the footage. So everything we see now, everything you said is 100% lies. So because I have the home security system, of course, I'm going to go to the 28th, the 27th, the 26th. He was with me all day on the 25th, Christmas.
Yeah.
What led up to this? I want to see what was going on, to the point where you rather for my son to be dead than not with you.
Yeah.
So you go to the 28th. He's not talking to her. He has no conversation for her. On the 27th, he's at his friend's house. No one's home. The house is completely empty. Jermaine didn't get home till around 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. But then, his god brother calls me and said, Mommy was here with me. And he was saying how he's going to be with Nia and go ahead and break up with Ray, and he don't want to be with her no more. And how he's tired of her not wanting anything. He's ready to buy a house. He does want to settle down, but he doesn't want to get stuck with someone that's just lazy and don't want anything out of life.
So she saw herself being totally moved out, and he wants to move on, get all these things that he couldn't achieve with her. He's having a baby with somebody else. So
having a baby with somebody else that has a job and is career oriented,
Yeah. So I mean, she realized she was out, and it was the final out. He gave her the money, saying, "Get out."
Get out. I'm done.
So when she called the ambulance, was there blood on the ground?
Yes, a pool of blood was on the ground.
So that makes no sense, because why is there blood on the ground? I mean, I guess let's pretend her scenario works. He was in the truck and they took him out and put him on the ground, but still it makes no sense that there was only a little pool of blood in the seat.
Well, you
That
have
would
to
make sense.
understand, she said she wrapped his head. So why would there be a pool of blood if she wrapped his head?
Yeah. And they take him, they start providing emergency care for him and take him to the hospital. How did you find out?
She called me at 1:21.
And what did she say to you?
Jermaine got shot.
Jermaine got shot. She didn't say Jermaine shot himself.
She said Jermaine got shot.
That's
And
that's odd.
said, did you call 911? She said, yes. I said, I'm on my way. Phone call wasn't even 2 minutes. I hung up.
Did you go to the scene or to the hospital?
The hospital.
Okay. What did they tell you when you got to the hospital?
That his wound is unsurvivable, that he's been shot in the head, and all they can offer is comfort care.
Did they decide to transfer him to another hospital?
Yeah, because it wasn't a trauma hospital. And my daughter-in-law, who's a nurse practitioner, she works at a trauma hospital.
Okay.
And so she pushed for them to take her to her hospital where they're more equipped to handle these things. And she was very upset and adamant and pissed off and hurt and everything, crying. And I just let her fight for that, if that's what she wanted. You know,
Yeah.
you feel like this is what you need to do to feel like you've done everything that you can, then go ahead. But they're saying it's unsurvivable.
Yeah.
So I let her push for that, and they did. She got a doctor to agree from her trauma hospital, and they flew him to Grady Memorial here in Atlanta, but he passed in flight.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
So what did the hospital say about his wounds?
That looked like a struggle, that looked like it was homicide.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did they tell you which side he was shot?
Yes, the left side, but it was clear because we went into the room to see him and sit with him and be with him for as long as they allowed us to. You can see it was the left side.
Yeah.
Yes, they told us.
Did you or anybody in the family notice any stippling? Basically, like when somebody gets shot, if it's a close contact shot, there's like gunpowder and stippling from the.
No.
Okay. So that means if he had shot himself, there should have been stippling on his wound, because that means it's like a close. And that's when you shoot yourself, it's usually pretty, you're close, you know.
Right, there was nothing. His hands was clean. Looked like he just got out the shower, fingernails clean. Nothing.
So there was no blood on his hands?
Nope.
Okay. That's odd. I know sometimes when there's shot, there's not a lot of blowback, but usually there is some blowback from when somebody is shot. And if he had shot himself,
it was barely any blood on his neck.
So what do you do at this moment? It's tough for all this information, and you know your son is now passed. What are your feelings on? Did you know instantly that she did it?
No. I wasn't thinking about who did it or what happened or anything. I was numb, just numb. I walked out after they pronounced him and asked us if we want to see his body. I was just praying to wake up from this dream and, and go hug my son once I wake up, and I wasn't waking up.
And
I drove home, didn't even come out the room the next day. And the detective called me and he said that I wanted to talk to you about your son. I said, okay. And he said, well, looks like he was in a love triangle and he was upset and he was drinking and he shot himself. And I said, what? I said, a love triangle. I said, sir, my son been in a love triangle since he been 2 years old. What are you talking about? He loves the ladies. Always have.
Yeah.
He's Don Juan, charmer, take you out to dinner, whatever you want to get, they take you on shopping sprees. What are you talking about? A love triangle.
If the police felt that Jermaine was in a love triangle, this would have been perfect motive. They should have investigated it as a love triangle. He had just broken up with his ex-girlfriend that day. He gave her $1,500 to move out. That is motive.
And he goes, well, I said, in drinking, my son is 100% professional. He will not drink on the job. It's just not who he is. Where are you getting your information from? I said, look, I'm just dealing with my son is not here right now. I'm going to deal with why he's not here at another date. Don't call me anymore. I'll call you when I'm ready. And I ain't call him again to January 17th. That's the next time we do it.
And this is actually a perfect place to end this part of the episode. Was there anything else you want to tell me about leading up to the investigation portion of this case? Is there anything else you want to tell me about their relationship or anything else, this part of the story we need to convey before we end this episode?
Other than the fact that, my son was just this guy that didn't know how to be the bad guy, and how to put his foot down. And, it's complicated being a man in this country because, one, you're damned if you're mean to a woman. And then all these narcissistic women slips in on that crack.
Yeah.
Where some women, you have to be mean and you have to be firm.
And she seems like the type of person he needed to put his foot down with. And
right. It's like, it's very complicated, but first the investigation, that's how it started. It's like, a love triangle guy. You don't know anything about my son. What was you guys doing?
Yeah.
Did you go and canvas? I mean, that whole entire complex is, they don't love my son. They're in love with my son.
Yeah.
So you didn't canvas the area. You didn't go talk to neighbors. I mean, it's not one person. I got bum rushed when I went over there.
Yeah.
I mean, I completely bum rushed people. I don't even know, just falling in my arms, crying. And I walked out of there with a trunk and car full of flowers.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And I said, okay, these people needs to grieve. So can we get a balloon release or something that they can do to channel their emotions? Because they're bum rushing me every time I come over here. And I mean, grown men. One guy was 7'1" and he just fell into my arms.
Oh, wow.
And I just love your son so much. And he helped me fix my car and never even charged me. And oh man, one lady, I had no food, no money, and your son gave me $150 and told me to go grocery shopping. And another girl, hey, your son, man, my car broke down and I couldn't get to work. And he will get up every morning and take me to work until my car got fixed, because he didn't want me working in the dark, because, in the winter it's dark at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
She said he made sure I got to work safe and always picked me up. And he used to pick this girl, he picked my kids up from daycare when my car stopped working, and just so that I wouldn't be late to pick them up. stuff like this. And I'm going, you didn't go over there and talk to these people? And every last one of them people, I hate her. All she did was argue. All she did was start fights. You'll hear at 3 o'clock in the morning arguing with them. And she'll come out here breaking his windows, busting out his car windows with a baseball bat. And this is the stuff I'm hearing when I don't know these people. Mitzi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, so why would they come to me telling me that?
Yeah. This is a perfect place to end this episode because you're just showing how much people loved your son. And I wish I got to meet him because he sounds like a lovely man and he had a big heart and that his community loved him where he worked and lived. And they were upset that he was taken away
about him, Mitzi. I can see the rap song that they made about him.
Oh, well, you need to share that one with me so I can,
Yeah.
I'm sorry that he was taken from you and in this manner, and he's being blamed for his own death when it definitely looks like there's a lot more to this story. And in this next episode, we're going to get into the investigation, or I should say lack of investigation.
Yeah, that's right, Missy. Lack
of. And this case is easily solved. We know who did it.
Easy. Easy.
So let's end this episode here where you just said how much people loved him. And that's a perfect way to end this episode. Okay. And then we'll get into the police and the medical examiner, because there's a lot there that
not medical examiner, coroner.
Oh, sorry, coroner.
No degree, never know any science, anything, just coroner.
We'll get into that because there's a lot there, and there's a lot of history there with these people. So
yes,
we're gonna end this episode. So I am Mizzy, and I'm a mixed girl in a mixed up world. Thank you guys for watching.